Good afternoon. Good morning. My name is Robert Childress. I'm CEO of the Masters Conference, and I'm really excited to be here with Sunblock today, specifically the CEO, I guess founder, right?
Yeah.
Of Sunblock, David Sun. And we're going to talk a little bit about Sunblock. We're going to talk a little bit about their new relationship that they've just built. We're going to talk about some key aspects to the industry, maybe a little bit about why you're here at Legal Tech. But I do want to share with you guys that are listening to this podcast that Sunblock has been around since 2002. That's correct,
That's
right?
correct.
And then you're actually started out of D.C.?
We're out of D.C., yes.
D.C., Virginia?
Just outside the Beltway in Virginia, exactly.
Just out in Virginia. Is there any particular reason why you started Sunblock? How did that kick it off?
So we're technologists. That's how we started off as technologists, and we use Sunblock systems to do a lot of technology-related consulting and forensics and investigations.
Right, and so you've primarily been focused in the cybersecurity world.
That's correct.
Okay. And now you're moving into e-discovery primarily?
Yeah, so we started off in the cybersecurity space, back before it was called cybersecurity, information security,
right.
Which nowhere near as exciting of a name as cybersecurity.
Right, thanks to movies.
Yeah. So we started off with that for 3, 4, 5 years, and then from there we were doing more forensics and investigation as a result of cyber breaches. And so we spent probably 8 or so years doing forensics, investigations, things like that. And then, for the last 5 years or so, we've been doing e-discovery as the follow-on from the forensic investigations once we go to litigation.
I tell you what, I'm actually super excited to be here with you today because there is a big discussion about how this intersects,
Yep.
right? And I don't know that we'll be able to answer it on this podcast, but just recently you announced a relationship with Judge Facciola.
That's right.
Can you talk a little bit about Special Master and what that means for Sunblock?
Sure. So a Special Master, for those who don't know, it's a person with some expertise that's appointed by a judge to assist the court in dealing with specific issues that they know very well. And they make recommendations, they can hold hearings, they can do motions on the issues that they have their expertise to ensure that parties comply with the court orders. So in short, Special Masters are designed to facilitate litigation, make things go faster, more smoothly. And like as you said, we recently brought on Judge Facciola into our Special Masters team. We have a few Special Masters, and Judge Facciola is one of them. And he's obviously very well known in the ESI and e-discovery industry, and he's available. We made him available, accessible to people and private parties to help with their disputes, to do mediations, to do mock trials. He's available to do all those things to facilitate litigation, so we can break some of the loggerhead that's out there, the jam that's out there for people who are dealing with ESI and asking the courts to issue opinions, and sometimes they're not comfortable doing that.
Right. Well, you guys, there's a lot of excellent Special Masters out there, but you guys went right to the top. You hired Fatch, who I would challenge out of the thousands of people here, there's not one of them that doesn't know who Fatch is.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that relationship, because that's coming from your background in cyber, you really did kind of take the leap into the e-discovery world by having him as a Special Master.
Yeah.
So now it's about building on that relationship, right?
That's right.
All right, so that's super exciting. That's one of the motivations behind me wanting to get with you.
Sure.
Is what is that all about? So the next thing that I wanted to cover with you is what are some of the key aspects of e-discovery that the industry needs to focus on? And when we think about key aspects, right, there's review, there's processing, there's so many things. But in your opinion at Sunblock, coming from your experience, what is those key aspects that you think we should be?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we really focus on identification and preservation of the ESI. We just feel like that's the area that still needs a little bit of emphasis. We still have attorneys and clients, they insist on self-collection. That's how they feel like they can reduce costs. And everybody here in the industry knows that's not a good idea, but everybody acquiesces because that's what the client demands.
Right.
And the problem is that, in my opinion, a lot of service providers in the space, they don't really have they're not comfortable really pushing the client to get them to understand what the issue is. Some of them, they feel like project manager, an e-discovery project manager with an encased dongle, well, that's good enough.
Right.
And they're not really understanding that what we do is we go in and we have clients who say, we don't do self-collection. Why do we need a forensic expert? And when we walk in with our forensic expertise, with our experience, with the war stories, talk about collections gone bad, they really start to understand the value in doing the proper collection, the proper identification. We really focus on the left side of EDRM. We kind of feel like that's the tip of the spear, right? As forensics, that's the tip of the spear for the e-discovery. And as we all know, the left side is where a lot of decisions get made, good and bad, and they have ripple effects all the way through the litigation.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, when you look at where data starts, right? Mm-hmm. It's the beginning of that where it really kicks off everything else,
That's
right?
Right.
And so that's actually a great segue into the last question I have is, where are we going? What do you think we should be doing? I mean, it's from, and what's interesting about that question is, if I met with a vendor who does e-discovery solely, that's a different answer. But coming from both camps, understanding everything, what do you see?
Well, I mean, I think we see it here even at Legal Tech. We're seeing everybody really start to understand that the cybersecurity is an issue, and we're starting to see that lawyers understand it not only for their clients but for themselves.
Right.
They're starting to understand that law firms themselves are giant repositories of data. We're seeing that we even have the U.S. government who's issued warnings about how law firms are being targeted by foreign nation states, right?
Right.
And we have this concept of advanced persistent threats, or APTs. We all saw how that Panamanian law firm was it Mossack and Fonseca, the Panama Papers. I mean, what kind of damage was done to that firm's reputation? I mean, that's almost irrecoverable. So we're really starting to see people understand that advanced persistent threats, APTs, the issue there just can't be stated overstated. And the problem you see is that most of the law firms, their IT departments, they're just having a hard time getting the budget, getting the executive resources that they need. So So we got the Panamanian Papers. That was step number one. I think one of these days, very soon, we're going to see a law firm get sanctioned when somebody takes their data, their client data, and you have privileged data, something like that gets out there as part of litigation, and then that's just going to be a huge problem for them. And we see this. We see that's why a lot of e-discovery providers are starting to get into that space. There's a market demand. It's fast. It's large. It's growing. But there's going to be that difficulty for an e-discovery provider to really pivot in that space, because e-discovery is very different than cyber forensics. It's all computer stuff, which is why some lawyers think it's the same thing. Right. but it's a completely different skill sets, completely different training, completely different expertise. Our forensic forensic expertise, our investigative experience, we feel like we're very well positioned. And again, we've been doing cyber stuff for 15 years. That's we have the name Sunblock Systems, of protecting your data systems.
Right.
And so we've been doing that. We've done work for the Olympics. We've done work for the United Nations. We've done work with Federal Reserve. And we're technologists first and foremost, and we have this direct operational experience in these IT systems. So that's what helps us really understand the issue of APTs. We have some SaaSes, or software as a service products that we are working on. We're going to debut them next week and start deploying them with some more clients. So it's really where the things going.
So what is the best way to get in contact with you guys?
We have our website, www.sunblocksystems.com, and then we have contact information there. They can reach out to us anytime, give us a call. We can always help out. If there's an incident that's going on, we can be on the ground there, boots on the ground, in less than 24 hours. We can remotely help instantly.
Right. So my answer to that is for you guys that are listening to this podcast, you know how to get in contact with Sunblock. But if you're catching yourself thinking about, I'm hearing a lot about cyber, I'm heavily involved in e-discovery, you're going to need to start looking at somebody like Sunblock who can help you bridge that gap. Yep. Because we're seeing at Masters a huge challenge between the cyber community and the e-discovery community. And I always think that the community is the difference between police and attorneys. And you really do, if you think about those personalities, or whatever you might want to call it, you will need somebody to actually kind of help you navigate those waters. And what's so great is the next step would be get a special master to help you navigate those waters. That's right. And you guys got Fatch. So you really have done all the right things. I'm really excited to be here with you today. I can't wait to work with you in the next day or so. And And thank you again for your time.
Sure, we're excited to be here, and thanks for your time also.
All right, have a great day.